Okay. Here we go for the Charlo versus Derevyanchenko live preview and breakdown and prediction. So here we go. Welcome to BWTM Sports Gaming. I'm looking forward to this one. I really am looking forward to this one. And the reason why I'm looking forward to this fight in particular is because throughout the years, when you're doing boxing predictions for me and just talking about the sport of boxing and getting involved in all the circus acts that are in boxing and all the various politics that are going on in boxing, you tend to forget about the fighters that you really do care about. And Jermall Charlo is one of my favorite fighters. I mean, he's in my top 5 in terms of fighters that I really have a real passion for. And they're guys I like to see fight, but I've got a real passion and a real care for. And I really like Jermall Charlo. I really do like him. I like how he goes about his business. I like his intensity. I like his passion. I like how he goes about and does the job. And I'm a massive fan of Jermall Charlo. I'm making that very clear before I start this video. I don't usually say that. I'm a big fan of him. There are guys in boxing I'm big fans of, and I really like their personality. I like the way they come across, and this is a guy I like. So I'm making it very clear from the start. So I'm going to talk a bit more about this fight now, Derevyanchenko. Now, a lot of people out there are calling this Charlo's toughest fight, biggest fight of his career, step-up fight. So for the Derevyanchenko fans out there who think that Derevyanchenko is this and Derevyanchenko's that and Derevyanchenko's the man, please stay the same way at the end of the night. Now, Derevyanchenko can win the fight. He's in the ring. He can win the fight. But do I think he's going to win the fight? No. And I'll tell you why. Derevyanchenko fought 2 guys. He's 15 with 2 losses. He fought 2 guys. I believe he beat Gennady Golovkin. In my opinion, I think he beat Gennady Golovkin. I think he outboxed Gennady Golovkin. He landed better punches than Gennady Golovkin. But Gennady Golovkin is one of those guys in boxing. Talk about anybody else in boxing, but don't talk about Golovkin, because even if he's getting beaten from round 1 to 12, you're still going to give him the decision. Golovkin's just one of those guys in boxing that people talk about in boxing, okay? And Golovkin's one of those guys protected in the sense that he's protected all round, Golovkin. He's protected all round. As a fighter, he's a protected fighter. And what I mean by that is, when people talk about Golovkin, now I don't want to go into this Golovkin rant, but I'm using it as an example as to where I'm going with this prediction. Golovkin is this massive puncher, but if somebody could tell me who of world class, who of elite level has Golovkin knocked out as a middleweight, as a champion? I'm not talking about B or C class opponents, guys who never won world titles. I'm talking about genuinely world class fighters. Who has he knocked out? And I'm not talking about pulling guys up from 2 weight divisions to fight either. Who's he genuinely knocked out? World class opponents. And when you look at guys like Julian Jackson, Thomas the Hitman Hearns, right? These are guys like Thomas the Hitman Hearns knocked out Roberto Duran. Nobody can say Roberto Duran wasn't a world champion. Nobody can say he's not a Hall of Fame fighter. Nobody can say Roberto Duran's a bum. And Duran and Hearns went out there and knocked him out clean. A guy that Leonard lost to and won against, and a guy that Hagler had all his hands full with. Hearns went out and steamrolled with one of the most beautiful right hands in boxing. And then you've got Julian Jackson. You've seen the way he cleaned up Terry Norris, terrible Terry Norris. That's just one example of how brutal. This guy is hit with 1 punch and laid you out cold. And Golovkin never fought the highest level of opposition. As far as I'm concerned, he was hidden behind the hype train, the gas man of Sanchez, and because of that, Sanchez said that Golovkin did this and Golovkin did that, and Golovkin. In fact, I've got an evening Well, I sat with Abel Sanchez and we talked about Golovkin versus the great middleweights and how he do against Najib Ben, Chris Eubank, and all these guys. And I'm going to try and pull it out at some point because I think it's a BWTM gold right there. But anyway, back to my point. So Golovkin's not for all his big punch, he's not as far as I'm concerned, the devastating puncher that everyone talks about. So let's put him to one side a second. And his place in middleweight division is very elevated. He's very overrated. I mean, he was meant to be this big punch at middleweight. He allowed a guy from light middleweight to move up and beat him. As far as I'm concerned, Canelo beat him the first time, and he whooped his ass the second fight. But that's me. That's my opinion. But that's I think. But let's move away from that. Now let's look at Daniel Jacobs. Now I was one of the guys that said that Golovkin would not knock out Jacobs, and that Jacobs had a very good chance of beating Golovkin because of his style. A lot of people came in there and told me that Golovkin was going to knock out Jacobs, and, well, you know, they never come back. Jacobs did well against Golovkin. I think he was scared of Golovkin initially because of all the rumors and all the stories and all the stuff about what Golovkin's like. So I think Jacobs coming a lot heavier for that fight. But at the end of the day, Golovkin didn't even look close to knocking Jacobs out. And I think, for me, honestly, I think Jacobs is a good middleweight. I don't see anything great about him. I don't think he gets any better. And yeah, he is very, again, overrated. I like him. Good fighter. Technically good, but nothing great. Those are the two fights that Derevyanchenko had against a slow and aging Golovkin. And I was calling Danny, glad to be here, Jacobs. Yeah, Jacobs has got hands, but he's not got hands like Charlo. He's not got the intensity of a Charlo. And he hasn't got the sort of string of knockouts that Charlo has rising through the division. And you know, Charlo to me looks not only pay-per-view star, but he looks like a superstar in the making. This fight against Derevyanchenko, which everyone's saying is his toughest fight, his biggest fight. Well, there's only one way. There's only one way Derevyanchenko wins this fight, and that's by outworking and out-hustling Charlo. Now, to do that, you're going to get to Charlo. Problem with Derevyanchenko is he's a perfect match for Charlo. If you've looked at how Charlo knocked out Julian Williams, the way he dropped Hogan, the way he went about Centennial Jr., Charlo's best punch, or one of his best punches, is the left uppercut. If you go back and look at the Danny Jacobs fight, Derevyanchenko was a sucker for the left uppercut. He was a sucker for the uppercut. And when Derevyanchenko was very good when Jacobs gave up the jab and conceded space and allowed Derevyanchenko to go and move up on his chest. Now, Derevyanchenko is going to get hit hard. He got hit hard by Golovkin and got dropped. He got hit hard by Jacobs and got dropped. But he's going to get hit a different kind of way when he gets hit by Charlo. I'm telling you now, he's going to get hit a different kind of way. When I looked at the tape, look back at the tape of Derevyanchenko, a lot of people are basing it based off what Jacobs did and what Golovkin did. This is a totally different beast there. Guy is unbeaten, one, and two, a guy that hits harder than Golovkin and Jacobs. People say, what are you talking about? Well, how many top-class guys was Golovkin knocking? Top-class guys has Golovkin been knocking out? I believe that he's a faster puncher than Golovkin. The things about Charlo that kind of concern me when he's going after guys. He does tend to leave his chin in the air to get caught clean. You look at fights he had against Trout. That was a good fight where Trout hit him with some good clean shots. But Charlo showed to have a good chin, maybe take a good punch. But I believe in this fight, because of the way Derevyanchenko is, you see when you fight in fights and you say to yourself, okay, you lost that fight because you were behind on points. You didn't throw enough punches. In this fight now, against Golovkin, I should have thrown more punches. Okay, the Jacobs fight, I should have thrown more punches. So now you're going to come into the Charlo fight based on experiences of the Golovkin fight and the Jacobs fight. Coming into this fight now against Charlo, what ends up happening is you throw more punches. But when you throw more punches and look to throw more punches, and that's your main mindset, you forget about your defense. You forget that other guys can be throwing punches back. And Charlo throws a sneaky left uppercut. You watch him carefully. He throws sneakily upwards, right, left uppercut. He throws it very sneakily. And Derevyanchenko is a sucker for uppercuts. The way he fights, he's a sucker for uppercuts. He's the kind of guy that walks onto uppercuts. Do you understand? So in all his busyness, I hope that his team have studied Charlo, because a lot of these teams don't study fighters. They are just throw more punches in this fight. You're going to just rush him and throw more punches. I hope they don't try and do that against Charlo, because it could get nasty for Derevyanchenko. You know, and Charlo is a good finisher. So to me, in this fight, Derevyanchenko will come forward, but I believe himself. He leaves himself open. I believe himself in one of those exchanges, one of them exchanges where he's trying to get on top of Charlo, he'll get cracked with one. See, if you see when Jacobs had Derevyanchenko, when Derevyanchenko had Jacobs back against the ropes, he was still getting it with uppercuts. And Jacobs' back was against the ropes, and he was still getting it with uppercuts. He says, go back like this. Imagine what happens if Charlo's got the time to step back in it with them uppercuts. And you've seen the power of Charlo. This ain't no joke. You've seen the power of Charlo. You've seen what he can do. Jermall Charlo is no joke. Jermall Charlo is no joke. This fight, actually, I was thinking about it. Should Charlo knock out Derevyanchenko? I don't want to hear no excuses about he was old, I got beat by Golovkin and got beat by Jacobs. I don't want to hear any of that. I want the guy to give him the credit that's due. But I'm not sure how much credit you can get from beating Derevyanchenko, because he actually isn't a world champion. Do you understand? Who's better, Jermall or Joe? That's a good question. For me, I would say Jermall. I would say Jermall, because he's moved from one weight division, being champion, moved up to the next weight division and become champion as well. I think, you know, I think Jermall's better. I think Jermall's the better fighter. Me personally, I think he's better. Like Jermall, I like Jermall more. I think he's. I feel more secure with Jermall than I do with Jermall. Jermall is like Vladimir and Vitaly. Is that sort of combination there? Who do you feel more secure with? I feel more secure with Jermall than Jermall. I do. Do you understand? I feel more secure with him. I think the only other thing I don't like sometimes watching. The only thing I don't like about watching at Jermall, sometimes the legs spray a little wide apart, and that's good when you're a puncher, but it's a problem when you're looking for mobility. When you spread legs wide apart, it's very difficult for you to move out the way of shots. You can't get out the way quickly because you have to bring your legs back together before you can move again, because your legs are so wide apart. So your legs are wide apart, you're like that, you're punching, and then you've got to bring your legs together to then move off. Do you understand? So that's one thing I do see. He does get tagged walking into shots as well, Jermall. And I've seen times as well he gets frustrated. He's throwing 4 or 5 punches. The guys ain't slip and move. So he does sometimes throw punches, and the guys with good movement have put him off. But in this fight, I believe that Jermall is going to knock Derevyanchenko out and be the first man to knock Derevyanchenko out. I do believe so in this fight. I think it might be a situation where Jermall goes out there and puts in a statement, embarrasses Gennady Golovkin. Because I think Gennady Golovkin, in my opinion, is very much overhyped. And he's not the real deal. And this is what I'm looking forward to seeing on Saturday night. The thing about this fight is because this fight, for me, is exciting because I could get this sensationally wrong. This is a fighter that, yes, I can see that this is Is it a step up? I don't know if it's a step up, because how good is Derevyanchenko? How good is Derevyanchenko? When you say he beats Golovkin, I don't think much of Golovkin. And when you say that, well, Jacobs beat him, I don't great Jacobs that highly. He's good, not great. And if you put Jacobs in with Charlo, I believe Charlo beats Jacobs as well. It's that punching power. I don't know how Jacobs handles that. You understand? I think it's a great fight. I think after this fight, Charlo should fight Jacobs. I want to see that fight next. Does Sergiy beat Korobov? Korobov's finished, man. Matt Korobov is finished. But he was doing good against Chris Eubank Jr. A fight I don't want to see. A fight I do not want to see is Chris Eubank Jr. against Charlo. I don't want to see that fight because I like both guys and I want Eubank to go off and do his thing. I don't want him meeting Charlo. No. I don't want to see him. I think it's a great fight. but I don't want to see it. There's the two guys I really like. I feel strongly about both guys, but for different reasons. You know, I like Charlo because I believe he's the real deal. And I like Eubank because he's got guts, he's got balls, he's got personality, and I like him. I like him. I like him. I think if marketed and managed correctly, I believe Eubank can be a pay-per-view star as well. But I believe that's what I see. I see Eubank Jr. as a pay-per-view star. He's got charisma. He's got personality. He just doesn't have to get past the jab at the moment. But you know, if you can, either one of two things, you kind of manage his career in a certain way where you kind of get him away from all the killers that have got very good boxing ability and put him in fights where are winnable for him for a while. I like Eubank Jr. I really like him. I like him. Got the same sort of love for Charlo as I have for Eubank Jr. You know, but I say for different reasons. Do you think that Errol Spence will be the same after his car crash? But that's the $1 million question, isn't it? It's the $1 million question. Because I've asked Derek James over and over and over again. He must be sick and tired of me asking him about it. We just have to wait and see. We have to wait and see. But if he isn't, Danny Garcia will find out for us. If that chin ain't right, if he isn't in good shape, dead, and for me, it was always a tough fight before the car crash, and I believe there's a tough fight now as well. I mean, guys, you can't get Mikey Garcia out there. You struggle with Sean Porter. What makes you think he's going to run through Danny Garcia? I can't understand the logic of that. You know, you start seeing patterns about fighters. You know, you struggle. Which Charlo do I think's got a tough fight? I think, if I'm honest with you, I think the other Charlo's got a problem. The other Charlo's got a problem, which is Rosario, because that Rosario is dangerous. Rosario is very dangerous. Errol's going to spar. Okay, let's get this in here. The Texan, great stuff. Great to see he's here. Errol's going to spar next week, but no telling what the intensity is like, low or high. Interesting news. Thank you for that, Texan. Appreciate that. I think you just got to wait and see. You've got to wait and see. You think about guys who get broken jaws in fights. I remember, what's his name? Ricky Burns, where he got his jaw broken. Remember Ricky Burns got his jaw broken? Who did he fight? He got his jaw broken. It was against my boy, Ray Beltran. Yeah, Ray Beltran. And Beltran broke his jaw. Do you never know? So Danny, if you can't, you know, I've not seen a stand-up performance from Errol Spence. I haven't seen it. I've seen workman-like performances, but I've seen nothing stand out. Do you understand? He wasn't outstanding against Porter. He wasn't outstanding against Mikey Garcia. Right? So the last time I saw him look outstanding, don't tell me about Chris Algieri, probably the Leonard Bundu fight, only because Thurman fought him, and Thurman was left running around the ring against Bundu, and Spence came out and knocked him out. Spence is a good fighter. I just haven't seen anything to make me go, wow. Now, Spence goes in there and he knocks Danny Garcia out. Oh, go, wow. Yeah, that is something to talk about. But I haven't seen that. All these Spence fans saying he's so great. I don't get it. I understand he's from Texas and you're back in your Texas sport. That's great. But I don't buy blowing smoke up someone's ass that doesn't deserve it. And a lot of that in boxing today, there's a lot of that blowing smoke up people's asses when they really haven't shown you anything great. The Mikey Garcia fight was flat. A guy came up you know, and he was there, and Errol dug his feet in and really let big shots go. Garcia was still there after 12 rounds. What's that? What's that? And then he fought Porter. Apart from the knockdown, which was good, that was that. So you get elements of things. You think, yeah, that's nice. I like that. But he didn't follow up on that. You understand? He couldn't get Porter out there. But having said that, Porter got dropped by Adrian Broner. So, and I thought Adrian Broner's knockdown was more impressive. Look at the way Adrian Broner dropped it. It's like the way he dropped it, just walked away. It's like, wow, that was something. That knockdown was okay against Porter. So, guys, no problem. Just chilling, listening. Good stuff. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. 2016 was his peak form because he fought 3 times a year. Yeah, he was. And at that level of opposition he was fighting was good. I just don't think Spencer's kicked on. I don't think he's kicked on. I think it's just the same, but the opposition's gotten better. You understand? When you see guys that when they fight better opposition, they're able to deal with the opposition emphatically. That's why I'm one of them guys that I'm one of them men that you have to show me something. You have to show me, yeah, all right, yes. Right, you've moved up a level and you've taken that guy out. That's why with Deontay Wilder, I never understood it with Wilder. Because as he stepped up in class and he fought better guys, he was still knocking them out. And people were still complaining. So I didn't understand. I never understood that about Deontay Wilder. He was moving up in class, fighting better opposition, still knocking guys out the same way, and people were still slating the guy off. So I'm like, what's going on here? But Golovkin moves up in class and the knockouts dry up. But he's a great puncher. Huh? Stavern had never been knocked out in his career, right? Like how Wilder went out and took him out of the round. I'm like, wow. Wow. You look at that. The way he knocked out Dominic Brazil. Wow. You think, yeah, this guy can really punch. This kid can really punch. Yeah, then he goes out and he does Luis Ortiz. Well, I told you everyone's going to knock Luis Ortiz anyway. And then rematch. Oh, Luis Ortiz has got a new hairstyle. But Luis Ortiz is running more. Luis Ortiz is going to get knocked out the same way. As soon as Wilder really touches him, that boy's going over. What happened? Boom! For the ropes. Ortiz is an old man. Ortiz is this. And they're saying, if Charlo knocks Derevyanchenko out, if you not, like I say, he's going to knock him out, yeah? If he knocks him out, wait for the excuses. He was old. Golovkin beat him. Jacobs beat him. He wasn't really that good. He only had 15 fights in his career. Oh, he had a long amateur career. And all the BS will come out. All the BS will come out. Oh, well, Golovkin knocked the stuffing out of him. Jacobs knocked the stuffing out of him. Oh, you know, coronavirus. And listen, and if Derevyanchenko does the business against Charlo, I'll be like, you know what? Fair dues, boy. But that only happens if Charlo concedes space and he lets Derevyanchenko, if he's foolish enough to let Derevyanchenko stay on his chest. But if he comes on his chest, trust me, he's going to get one of them uppercuts. Does Lopez have any chance against Lomachenko? Listen, Lomachenko, again, another person that is a good fighter. He's got good boxing skills, but he's no Pernell Whitaker, right? He's no Pernell Whitaker. And the thing about Lomachenko, he's been beaten already by Salido, and he hasn't even had the rematch against him. Oh, yeah, he got beat by Salido in his second fight, but why didn't he have a rematch? Why doesn't he have the rematch? So and then he fought Luke Campbell. It's like people don't see things in boxing. In the Luke Campbell fight, he was hurt by Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell. I love Luke Campbell. I think I love all the boxers. I love Luke Campbell. He was hurt by Luke Campbell with a body shot. That's Luke Campbell. That's Luke Campbell who was asking Lomachenko for an autograph while they were fighting. What I mean by that is that he had no intention to try and stop Lomachenko. He was a fan of Lomachenko. He was a fan of Lomachenko. That Salido fight was a disgrace, though. Right, listen to me. Listen to me. This is boxing, right? And Salido was rough, and he was tough, and he was this, and he was that, right? Look, it was all them things, right? But this is boxing. This is boxing. You saw Victor Ortiz. Is Victor Ortiz? The one who headbutted Mayweather in the ring. You saw Zab Judah trying to low blow Floyd Mayweather. You get rough fights in boxing. It happens. People do what they have to do to get the win. It's not down to the fighter. It is down to the referee. All right? It's down to the referee to ensure that the fighter is not allowed to get away with that stuff. So a disgrace, that's down to the referee. Me, I don't business. I'm in that ring to. I'm in there to win. And if I have to chuck a low blow in and throw a headbutt in and chuck an elbow in, and you know, if I have to do that to get the win or to knock you out of your stride, and that is a way to deal with fighters like Lomachenko, you have to be rough and tough and engaged and up in their face and on their chest. If Lopez can get on the inside of Lomachenko, work the body and come upstairs and hit him on that chin, we'll see how good Lomachenko is. Because Lopez can punch, he's intensive, he's got power in both hands, got good defense, good footwork. I like Lopez. But he's young. And the thing with young fighters are the bright lights can get them, the event can get them, and atmosphere can get them. That's probably in Lopez's, maybe in Lopez's favor or not in his favor. So like as a younger fighter, the adrenaline can get you pumped. If you're not fighting in front of a crowd, that's going to be interesting for Lopez. And Lomachenko, can they still up themselves in the same way? Will Lopez have the same intensity with him? He won't have a whole these people all around him when he's got to fight, is he? It's going to have a different atmosphere. So it will be interesting to see how he goes about his business. But he's got the punching power there to hurt Lomachenko. And that's what I like about this fight. He's got the power to put Lomachenko's lights out. That's what I like about this fight. So it's an interesting fight. But I don't believe this nonsense about Lomachenko's unbeatable crap. Won't listen to that. He is now fighting a guy that this is one of these guys. Lopez is one of them guys that you think, all right, you do this stuff. You do it against Lomachenko. If you beat Lomachenko or Lomachenko, you beat this guy. Okay, I'm looking. This is one of those. This is one of those signature fights. This is one of those fights where a guy doesn't like Lomachenko. Has got no respect for Lomachenko. So this is the opportunity for Lomachenko to put those skills together and to put Lopez in his place. Top three pound for pound fighters. Question. I always like to go with undisputeds. I always do. And Crawford and Usyk are those two guys that are in there for me. All right? Because of that. Crawford has to fight somebody soon. He really has got to fight somebody soon. Yeah, he's got to fight somebody soon. And Crawford, Canelo, Usyk. They're my top three. They're my top three. Only because two are undisputed. Well, three are undisputed. Well, Canelo was undisputed, wasn't he? So I'm going to go with Canelo, Usyk, and Crawford. Crawford's still got, out of the three, Crawford's got to fight better opposition. He can't keep fighting. Who was he? Who could he have been? He never was. He's got to fight better opposition. So Canelo, Loma, and Bud. Those three for me. No. Yes, he is. He is. But I'm going with the three undisputeds. Canelo, Crawford, and Bud. They're the three guys I'm going for in terms of what they've done. Lomachenko doesn't come into my top three at all. He just doesn't. Sorry. In terms of achievements. Usyk's got to be up there. Usyk's fought the best in his weight category. All the best in his weight category and cleaned out. I rate him for that. But Turbiev, no, he's not in my top three. How can Turbiev be in my top three? No. My boys in the top three. Dmitry Bivol is higher rated for me than Turbiev. Bivol's been more active. He's fought more than name fighters. Beterbiev, I'd like to see him fight against Joe Smith. I think that'd be a great fight for as long as it lasts. So yeah, I know he's unified champion, but Beterbiev isn't he now? But I like Bivol. That's my boy. He's fought a lot of the guys, a lot of the name fighters within the light heavyweight division. Big fan of Bivol. Big fan of Bivol. But don't get me wrong, I like Beterbiev too. 15 fights, 15 KOs. That's nice. That's good. And got dropped by my boy Callum Johnson. So yeah, that's nice. Usyk and okay, that's nice. Great. Right. Anyway, thank you so much. So I'm going with Charlo by stoppage in this one. Charlo by stoppage against Derevyanchenko. Charlo by stoppage. But this fight, as I said before I finish, one of my favorite fighters are fighting. And I want to know how good he really can be. And I just want this to be, for me, to be happy tomorrow night, or Saturday night, sorry. For me to be happy Saturday night, Sunday morning, is to see him knock Derevyanchenko out. That would be like, good lad, keep it going. This is the signature fight. The fight that people say, yeah, well, he's not fighting a bum, all right? Nobody's going to tell me that Derevyanchenko's a bum. Nobody's going to tell me that Derevyanchenko is not good enough, he can't fight. So that's it. So that's it. That's who I'm going with. This is who I'm backing, Charlo by knockout. Thank you all for watching. When I come back on BWTN Sports, we'll be playing the latest Unified and Undisputed. I always have Unified and Undisputed. I've got the greatest respect for. So they'll be my top 10, of course. Yeah, when I come back tonight, we'll be on PS 2021. Yes, the Arsenal edition on gaming tonight. So we'll be playing that tonight. I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for watching. What do you think of the fight? Does Derevyanchenko beat Charlo? Does Charlo beat Derevyanchenko? And who would you like to see Charlo fight next should he beat Derevyanchenko? And if Derevyanchenko were to get the win, what does that say about Derevyanchenko? I'm out of here. Have a great evening.